Our top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. GRA withdraws and discontinues the tax charges against AZRUDDIN and NAZAR Mohammed. When leader claims elections victory, NANDLALL says leader clearly delusional. President Ali urges global leaders to prioritize forest in climate agenda at COP30. Woman stabs reputed husband to death in Sophia, claims she acted in self-defense. Police officer freed of QUINDON BACCHUS murder. And in sport, Team Guyana bags 4 medals and just concluded CARE-BACO Senior Championships in Trinidad and Tobago. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Thursday, 6th November 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. The multi-million-dollar tax charges brought against businessman and Member of Parliament AZRUDDIN Mohammed and his father NAZAR Mohammed were Thursday withdrawn and discontinued by the Guyana Revenue Authority. Travis Chase has more on this developing story.
When embattled Member of Parliament AZRUDDIN Mohammed and his father NAZAR Mohammed appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court on Thursday to answer fresh tax-related charges filed by the Guyana Revenue Authority, they were informed that all charges had been withdrawn and discontinued. Attorney at law for the father and son Sion Dejean told reporters after the hearing that the Guyana Revenue Authority had embarked on what he described as a fishing expedition.
I asked the prosecutors of the GRA why it was withdrawn. They could not give a reason. They said it was above their pay grade. But we know why the charges were withdrawn. The charges were withdrawn because this was a fishing expedition.
The GRA had claimed that following an extensive audit of the company's gold export records and financial statements, there was alleged underreporting. Attorney Dejean believes that the GRA may have used the charges as bait for bargaining.
I filed the charges to see if we would come to the table and try to bargain with them to alleviate some or all of the taxes. We did no such thing. They have no evidence to substantiate any of these 10 charges, which charge them with under-declaring very colossal amounts of income tax to the tune of billions of dollars without presenting a shred of evidence.
It has since come to light that Mohammed's enterprise had filed formal objections with the GRA within the legal time frame after receiving their notices of assessment.
Up to Friday, I think, is the deadline for us to raise our objection. So I don't know if they have misapprehended the rights and powers of a taxpayer under law. But I think that the charges it was realized last minute that the charges were badly brought.
Meanwhile, the embattled MP and the leader of the We Invest in Nationhood Party, AZRUDDIN Mohammed, continues to insist that all his legal troubles are part of a campaign of political persecution.
The charges are frivolous and vexatious, trumped-up charges, baseless. We will win all these matters in the court. We are innocent, by the blessings of Almighty God. It's just political persecution, nothing more than this.
No one from the Guyana Revenue Authority was available for comment when contacted on Thursday. The father and son, who have been indicted by a U.S. grand jury on charges of conspiracy, mail and wire fraud, money laundering and gold smuggling, are currently challenging an extradition request from the United States in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the Guyana Revenue Authority said the charges were withdrawn in light of an extradition request and government's decision to proceed with that request from the United States government and taking into account all relevant legal principles, including internal committee, appropriateness, and fairness. The tax authority also indicated that the charges were filed before the extradition request was received. Guyana's Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs NANDLALL has expressed shock and dismay with statements made by leader of the We Invest in Nationhood, AZRUDDIN Mohamed, over claims that his political party won the 2025 general and regional elections. Marvin Cato reports.
We won these elections, and that is why they are so scared, because they know the numbers. We didn't get 109,000 votes. We won the elections. So this is why they're after me like this, because they know. They manipulated every single thing.
This statement did not sit well with Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs NANDLALL.
This gentleman said, with a sober face, that the PPP rigged the 2025 elections and that he won the 2025 elections.
NANDLALL is of the view that if this is the level of discourse that would be brought to the National Assembly by the large opposition political bloc, then the 13th Parliament would definitely not yield the level of discourse or representation the nation deserves.
It gives you an insight into the mentality of the leader of the opposition to be.
The AG reminded that the embattled win leader is fighting through the judicial system to prevent his extradition in alleged criminal financial dealings. However, as an elected member of the National Assembly, the AG reminded one has to be mindful of the statements made, especially if those statements are reckless.
It's an indictment on the people of Guyana, and it's an indictment on Guyana.
It is important to note that at the recently concluded election, the PPPC won 242,497 votes, while WIN garnered 109,075 votes at its first showing.
When such a bizarre statement can emanate from a highly placed politician who appears to be sincerely persuaded that it is reality.
NANDLALL believes when someone knows the truth, having seen the gazetted results and statements of poll, the AG attributed such statements to psychological problems. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
President Irfan Ali on Thursday urged world leaders to prioritize forests in the global climate agenda as he delivered opening remarks at the 30th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP30 in Brazil. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
President Irfan Ali on Thursday reminded world leaders that Guyana's demonstrated how fair and effective climate solutions can work, referencing the launch of the Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS, in 2009, an initiative many had doubted at the time, but Guyana has proven otherwise.
And the first to complete large-scale sales agreement. Guyana remains in net carbon sink, with our forests storing 19.5 gigatons of carbon.
President Ali highlighted that revenues from carbon credit sales are directly benefiting indigenous peoples, local communities, and investments in renewable energy technology, job creation, and climate adaptation, the largest in the nation's history.
We must act on forests. Forests must be mainstream in this agenda. They absorb around 1/3 of global emissions and remain the most viable and cost-effective opportunity for mitigation by 2030.
He emphasized that forests must not be an afterthought in climate discussions.
We must not fight for forests to be on any agenda. If we are serious about climate change, forests must find a permanent place on the agenda of climate change.
The head of state also outlined 3 key priorities the global process must recommit to in order to solve the modern climate challenges, emphasizing that the world today is vastly different from 30 years ago. The key areas include digital revolution, artificial intelligence, and automation for reshaping economies and increasing global energy demands, including for data systems.
We must accelerate the energy transition at the same time as we expand energy security.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, President Ali on Wednesday announced that before the end of this year, his government will unveil a comprehensive package of measures, including cash transfers to families across Guyana. Here again is Tiana Cole.
Before the end of this year, President Irfan Ali says his administration will roll out a comprehensive set of initiatives aimed at empowering citizens through cash transfers and other support programs.
I'm going to announce before the end of the year a series of measures, not only looking at cash grant, but looking at the total empowerment of every Guyanese, whether you're someone living with disability, the elderly, children, women, small businesses, farmers, you name it, every category.
The president added that systems are being digitized and measures will be implemented in a structured and transparent manner. He urged Guyanese to open bank accounts, noting that discussions with commercial banks have already resulted in the facilitation of online account openings with minimal requirements for accounts under $1 million.
We want every Guyanese to own their own bank account so that this digital transfer would be easy and efficient and, of course, transparent.
President Ali also announced that his government will allocate $2.7 billion to the rice industry, equating to $300 per bag, and provide $150,000 to each fisherfolk as part of an incentive package.
And we're going to give $150,000 to every fisherfolk out there to help them as a incentive, a subsidy from the government.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned, we have more news for you.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With the HGP Nightly News, a partnership for national unity's Shadow Minister for Housing and Security Sectors in his analysis has exposed what he believes are alarming gaps between spending and delivery in the housing sector. This was highlighted from the Auditor General's 2025 mid-year report presented by the Minister with responsibility for finance in the Office of the President to the Parliament. Marvin Cato reports.
Public projects must return to value for money discipline. That is the process we want. Value for money discipline.
That was a Partnership for National Unity Shadow Minister for the Housing and Security Sector, Sherrod Duncan, following the tabling of the 2025 mid-year report. Duncan, in his retort, believes it lays bare an alarming contradiction at the heart of the government's housing agenda.
So we're spending the money, taxpayers' money, oil money, but we don't have the backings in terms of the result to show.
According to the newly sworn-in MP, the report shows over 58 billion, which represents more than half of the annual housing budget, was spent by June this year. Yet, only 265 homes were completed and just 2,052 land titles issued. This, Duncan says, equates to an average cost that far exceeds approved thresholds and undermines every claim of cost efficiency or equitable access.
Poor contract supervision and no timely response to audit queries. It is not just financial, it affects citizens who have to wait longer for homes.
The MP also stressed that what is more troubling is the lack of transparency surrounding the so-called tiered affordability model, whereby citizens are told that a two-bedroom home can be acquired for as little as 100,000 Guyana dollars. Yet, according to Duncan, the government admits to spending around $5 million to develop each lot.
And then we were also told that 6 of 18 core home projects were under 40% complete by the end of 2024.
According to the MP, the mismatch of rhetoric and reality according to the tiered affordability model raises serious questions about the true structure of these subsidies, the identity of contractors benefiting from these projects, and the actual affordability for low-income families. Marvin Keto, reporting for HGP Nightly News.
In what can be deemed a cause for major concern, the Auditor General's 2024 report has revealed that the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority wasted resources and carried out poor account record keeping. Marvin Keto is on that story.
It is a confirmation of the high level of corruption, mismanagement, incompetence, and by extension, theft.
That was Vince Roy Jordan, a Partnership for National Unity APNU's Shadow Agriculture Minister, highlighting the shockingly damning performance audit of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, which found that the authority burned through a staggering $6.6 billion between 2021 and mid-2024 to maintain drainage and irrigation assets. Jordan also noted that the Auditor General's report also pointed out major gaps in oversight, planning, and accountability which were left to fester.
It's just a confirmation of what the APNU-AFC coalition has been saying in the opposition for the past 5 years.
Jordan believes that it is the most corrupt entity under the Ministry of Agriculture. According to the Auditor General's report, based on the performance audit conducted, it was revealed that there was ballooning maintenance costs from $1.079 billion in 2021 to $2.461 billion in 2023.
All that they were doing, and that while we were speaking about their irregularities and their mismanagement, it is now confirmed that they were engaged in these acts.
The MP pointed out that the report highlighted that no proper systems to show taxpayers are getting value for money was evident. In fact, assets records were poorly kept, critical information missing, and several key management positions, including CEO, deputy CEO, legal officer, and manager of operations, were left vacant for years.
And when we speak about incompetence, when one would just take a look at the pump station at Port Drawing, when one would just take a look at the pump station at Bellevue.
Marvin Keto reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Newly sworn-in Member of Parliament Sharma Solomon intends to push for fair distribution of resources for the development of Region 10, which he says has long been marginalized. Antonio Day has more.
To ensure that the issues affecting those people in Region 10 that have reflected themselves in marginalized outlook and even resource distribution, which are not necessarily so equitable.
That was Sharma Solomon, Member of Parliament and Shadow Minister of Public Service and Government Efficiency and Natural Resources, during an interview with Nightly News. The former mayor of Linden stated that he will ensure specific development-related issues are given priority at the National Assembly level in his capacity as a parliamentary representative for his region. He argued that the mining town should not be marginalized due to political affiliations.
I think those are issues now that we can bring to this assembly so that the people of Linden can have that right, proper, and strong representation on those matters from the grassroots level.
Meanwhile, Dr. Ryan Richards, a representative from the mining town of Linden and an elected member of parliament for the We Invest in Nationhood, lamented the lack of adequate sports facilities in the area, particularly in communities like Mackenzie and Retrieve. Dr. Richards, a dentist by profession, stated that although he's aware of construction projects on the Mackenzie Sports Complex, which is being converted into a stadium, and the Bayrock synthetic tracks, nearby communities are faced with unkept community grounds.
More needs to be done. We have a whole host of fields that need enhancement.
Also highlighted was the need to overhaul the current erratic water supply in areas such as Prosville, Amelia's Ward, and Retrieve.
It's just like for the past 2 days, water was restored in Amelia's Ward. They were out of water for like 4 or 6 days. This is a big problem. I live in Retrieve. We cannot get 24 hours water supply, and the water coming out of the tap is super filthy.
Dr. Richards made it clear that he will be working assiduously to advocate for the equitable development of his region. Similar to Solomon, he believes that several communities have been marginalized and underdeveloped. Antonio D reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A 23-year-old woman is wanted by the police for the fatal stabbing of her reputed husband. She claims she acted in self-defense, while the victim's family, who spoke with Travis Chase on Thursday, claims the woman had always been the aggressor in the relationship.
A 25-year-old Sophia man was fatally stabbed by his reputed wife during a domestic altercation Wednesday evening. Dead is Akeem Evans of Beefield, Sophia. His alleged attacker has been identified as 23-year-old Janoria Heaven Brown, also of Beefield, Sophia. Reports are that the fatal stabbing occurred in the lower flat of the couple's home, which is owned by Evans' parents. According to a resident, she was standing in front of her home when Evans ran out of his parents' yard, clutching his chest and bleeding profusely. The injured man reportedly told the resident that his wife had stabbed him. Moments later, Brown was seen running from the yard in tears, but offered no explanation when questioned about the incident. Evans was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where doctors pronounced him dead on arrival. Evans' relative, who spoke with Nightly News on Thursday morning, claimed that Brown was always the aggressor.
Do you know him to be abusive to her?
No, I got tapes. She cussing and abusing out. And all my son would say, stop, don't talk so hard. You ask the neighbors. They would tell you.
Oh, my son never abusive to the young lady. The young lady, she always going on. And I try to tell my son about this someone, and he want to fight me, all kind of stuff. When I try to tell you the truth about this someone.
However, Brown is claiming that she acted in self-defense. The woman who spoke with Nightly News via telephone is alleging that she endured years of abuse at the hands of Evans and that the fatal confrontation was the result of another violent altercation between the two. The woman plans to surrender to the police in the company of her attorney. Evans' body, which bore a single stab wound to the left side of his chest, is at the Georgetown Public Hospital mortuary. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Join us after the break. We have more news for you.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
I can open it myself. It's in my bag, and it tastes so good.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. As we continue, police officer Christophe de Nobrega has been freed of the murder charge related to the 2022 shooting death of QUINDON BACCHUS. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Police officer Christophe de Nobrega on Thursday walked out of the Georgetown High Court a free man after being acquitted of the murder charge related to the shooting death of 25-year-old QUINDON BACCHUS, who was killed during an unauthorized police operation at Haslington, East Coast, Demerara on June 10, 2022. When the matter was called before Justice Gino Prasad, he upheld a no-case submission made by de Nobrega's attorney, George Thomas. Outside the courtroom, Thomas told reporters that there was insufficient evidence to support the charge.
So at the close of the case for the prosecution, we would have made a no-case submission, which the judge would have ruled on today, and we were successful. Mr. Nobrega is now a free man.
Thomas added that the defense team is pleased with the outcome, but regretted that de Nobrega had to face trial.
It's only unfortunate that he had to stand trial for such an offense. There was very little evidence to incriminate him in any form or fashion.
The preliminary inquiry into the murder was conducted by Senior Magistrate Fabi Azor at the Vigilance Magistrates Court, where sufficient evidence was found to commit de Nobrega to stand trial before a judge and jury at the High Court. Reports indicate that on the day in question, police ranks were conducting an intelligence-led operation in the Haslington New Scheme after receiving information earlier that day. Bacchus was reportedly seen with a firearm, which he intended to sell to the ranks. During the exchange, an alarm was raised and Bacchus reportedly fled the scene. A chase ensued, during which Bacchus allegedly shot at the ranks, who returned the fire, hitting him multiple times. He was later taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was treated but subsequently died. In a separate case, Bacchus's family was awarded $24 million by the High Court in late 2024 after filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the state. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Monifa Fresco and Ayodel David, two young entrepreneurs, are making waves in the culinary arts, drawing commuters and passers-by at A and B Cemetery Road between Princess and Norton Streets. Antonio Day spoke with the businesswomen.
Two young entrepreneurs are making headway at their enterprise, Momo Moish and Io's Bakery, which have typically become the talk of the town, especially at A&B Cemetery Road and Princess Streets, Georgetown. The business, located between Princess and Norton Streets, is well known for its mouth-watering homemade milkshakes and juices, as well as assortment of flavor-infused banana bread. In an interview with Nightly News, Monifa Fresco, the owner of Momo Moish, discussed her entrepreneurial journey and how the name came into being.
That was around the time when I used to walk around Georgetown and sell, and customers said that they really loved it and it tastes moish. So I went home and I told my father what the customer said, and he said that is the name, Momo's Moish, because my name is Monifa, so for short is Momo, Momo's Moish.
Because of the inventiveness of the ingredients, Fresco observed that a lot of customers enjoy the banana milkshakes.
We locals know what bomb is with barks and sea moss and all these things, right? Banana milkshakes are introduced to the public and they reacted good.
The young entrepreneur noted that her venture was birthed back in 2016 when she was employed at a prominent hotel. Fresco recalled that she chose to share some of the banana milkshakes that her father had prepared while at home. Noting their positive reactions, the young woman revealed that was how the business developed.
They loved it, so they wanted more, right? I ran outside and I called my father and said, hey, I think we have a business. We should start a business. I actually started out making 7 bags of banana milkshake. Yes, I used to sell them in bags before I moved to bottles.
Ayodele David, the proprietor of Ayo's Bakery, is renowned for her delicious banana breads, which have an array of flavors. She recapped that her venture began in May of this year.
I had wanted to try something different. I never ate banana bread before. And I decided to bake banana bread, and I loved it. My family and friends loved it. And it was around this time my brother encouraged me to sell the product. So I did, and from then to now, which was May 2025, I've been doing the business, and a lot of people enjoy it.
Access to collateral would be difficult for any successful micro business But Manifa and ALETHEA pointed out that their businesses are able to prosper because of their earnings from their prior jobs and family support. They acknowledge that occasionally sales may be slow, but that has not stopped them from moving forward. The young ladies are excited about the upcoming holiday season because they believe many customers will take advantage of the delicious banana bread. Additionally, Momo Moy sells homemade juices like sorrel, pineapple, guava, and cherry. David also offers this advice for young people in business who may be faced with uncertainties.
Know who you want to be and where you want to be and work towards it. Yes, it'll be hard at first, but anything worth having in life is hard to acquire. So just trust the process, trust yourself, trust in God, and you'll get there.
Antonia D reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Something new has been growing, and it's now ready for you to pick.
Fresh.
Taste the Fruta freshness. Pick the fresh new 200 ml size today. Live Frutiful.
You know, brethren.
Yeah, blood.
I said like you didn't pass it through today.
Nah, boys, them file here, you tell people stop me and they come to me on help.
Oh, but hey, I hide it from them people I know, boy. Man, none of them things. Plus, I skipped them people last year. And did you and I feel good? Make no sense I take that. You think this is still gonna take us out? Yeah.
No matter what, you could feel good, but the worm still and you said you could get a big foot and all.
Oh, hey, Bigfoot, worm. Hey, man, stop playing, you know. Hey, me auntie take them pills and she gets sick. Plus, me auntie, me sister and them did I take it. That them Bigfoot and them things come from crap who blowing on your foot.
Yes.
Or your body, not no file in your body.
Nice, serious body. You see, if you don't take the pill, the worm goes inside you for years. Plus, when the mosquito bite you can pass on a crime, give it to your family or even weep. Besides, plus, your auntie must see you had the thing and all, the pill help shit. Don't believe in them or be a stubborn dog.
So wait, you telling the rascal get this thing you could give family and don't even know?
Yeah, man. Plus, if you think get bad, your foot and your skin will be big. Even your baskets will be get gory.
Hey, you are none of them. Hey, bye, best you take this pill and done, bye. Yeah, but that's why we all got to take the fileria pill. Yeah. Protect your family and everybody else. We are talking about fileria gonna get knocked out. TKO.
Say hello to your new favorite sip, Fruta Mango Passion. This tropical combo of mango and passion fruit delivers a bold flavor and wholesome goodness. It's fruity, it's vibrant, and it fits right into your day. Grab your Mango Passion can today and live fruitifully. Fruta.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio D. Here's what you need to know in the Caribbean region and international diaspora. We begin with news in Haiti. Health authorities in Haiti are warning of a cholera surge following Hurricane Melissa, which flooded key regions and contaminated drinking water supplies. While more than 2,900 suspected cases and 27 deaths have been reported, since January, officials say recent spikes in neighborhoods like Pétionville and Grand Gaucher raise fears of a wider outbreak. The threat is compounded by insecurity, lack of clean water, and failing health infrastructure. Over to news in Trinidad and Tobago. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown is warning Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bessessar that she may find herself having to account to the International Criminal Court, just like former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte. Speaking at a news conference on Tuesday at the office of the opposition leader, Brown said, and I quote, "I want to give a clear warning to the Prime Minister of this country. I want to refer to this case and it will arise in the future. You will see sometimes heads of government feel they can say and do anything for their support base to clap and cheer, and there will be no consequences in the future." Brown said that the United States airstrikes carried out against alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean and Pacific drew sharp criticism from the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, who warned that they violated international human rights law and must stop immediately. And finally, with some international news. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has wielded enormous power in Congress and in the Democratic Party for decades, announced on Thursday that she will not seek re-election and will retire from Congress after her term ends in the early 2027. Pelosi, 85, made her decision public in a video released Thursday morning that begins as a letter to the people of San Francisco area, whom she has represented in the House since she was the first elected in 1987. That has brought us to the end of Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye and be safe.
Let's now join Delwyn Neblet for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblet with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Thursday, November 6, 2025. We begin tonight with badminton. Team Guyana secured 4 medals in the recently concluded 2025 CARE-BACO Senior Championships held in Trinidad and Tobago. Senior men's national champion Akili Haynes secured 2 medals, winning bronze in the men's singles category and also winning bronze in the mixed doubles category alongside senior women's national champion Brianna Ramdani. Ramdani also secured a silver medal in the women's doubles category alongside Chiquita Deboulay and was on course to winning the singles title before sustaining a knee injury which forced her to retire in the second set of the final after winning the first set 21-13 and leading 14-11. Moving into football, the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport is once again lending its full support to the 6th annual KFC International Schools Football Tournament scheduled for December 14 to 21 in Georgetown. According to the Honorable Minister Stephen Jacobs, the tournament is a celebration of youth, talent, and regional friendship, bringing together 8 teams from 6 nations including Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Suriname. He further expressed his excitement in welcoming new participants from Brazil and the Bahamas for the first time in the tournament's history. The minister mentioned via social media that the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport remains committed to creating opportunities for young athletes to grow, compete, and shine on the regional stage. He also commended the organizers, sponsors, and participating schools for their dedication to youth development and sports excellence. Moving into hockey, action resumed in the Bounty Supermarket-sponsored Guyana Hockey Board National Indoor Hockey Championship with 3 fixtures at the National Gymnasium on Tuesday. The first match in the men's second division category was a commanding 5-0 victory for Saints Hockey Club over the Hikers Cadets. Baraka Garnett scored twice as Jonathan Liverpool, Troy Hodge, and Ezekiel Moses each scored once in a winning effort. Match number 2, also in the men's second division category, was a close 3-2 victory for Old Fort over the GCC Outlaws, as Yannick Norton netted a brilliant double and Donnell Allain scored once in a winning effort. In the women's category, GBTI GCC defeated the National Women's Over 40 side 7-2 on the back of a dazzling 5 goals from Abaseri Cadogan and 2 goals from Rebecca Ferreira. The final match on Tuesday was a dominant 4-2 victory for the Old Fort Inferno over the Hikers women. Action in the tournament continues tonight and is set to conclude on Sunday, November 9. And finally, in cricket, New Zealand secured a series-leveling victory against the West Indies in the second T20 International at Eden Park earlier today. Batting first after being sent in, New Zealand amassed 207 for 5 of their allotment of 20 overs as player of the match Mark Chapman top-scored with a blistering 78 from 28, Tim Robinson added 39 from 25, and Daryl Mitchell remained unbeaten on 28 from 18. Roston Chase was the pick of the bowlers for the Windies, taking 2 for 33 as both Matthew Ford and Jason Holder picked up 1 wicket. When the Windies responded, it was a valiant effort, but in the end they were limited to 204 for 8 of their allotment of 20 overs. Robman Powell top-scored with a powerful 45 from 16 as Romario Shepherd added 34 from 16. Both Ish Sodhi and captain Mitchell Santner picked up 2 wickets for New Zealand in the 3-run victory. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblet reminding you to stay in the game.
GRA withdraws and discontinues tax charges against AZRUDDIN and NAZAR Mohammed. When a leader claims elections victory, NANDLALL says leader clearly delusional. President Ali urges global leaders to prioritize forest in climate agenda at COP30. Woman stabs reputed husband to death in SOPHIA, claims she acted in self-defense. Police officer freed of QUINDON BACCHUS murder. And in sport, Team Guyana bags 4 medals in just concluded CARE-BACO Senior Championships in Trinidad and Tobago. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.